Hi, welcome back to Cheyenne Life. This is Debbie. I wanted to show you some updates in the garden that have happened over the last few days, as well as some of the things that I have been working on. We are continuing to plant into July, and I know we're getting towards the mid parts of July, and you're probably wondering what the heck could probably be planted at this time, what would be ready by the time that snow flies again in Wyoming, because we can have snows like we had last gardening season. I believe we had a snow on September 9th or 11th, one of those days. So pretty soon, and we had already had temperatures cooling off in late August. So one of the things I wanted to show you is we are beginning to get pumpkins on the pumpkin plant. If you can see that peeking down there underneath that bloom, these are the male flowers that are bloomed right now. And right down there is a female flower with a pumpkin on it. And hopefully she will get a little bit bigger pretty soon and start blooming, so I can go ahead and get one of these male flowers to pollinate it. One of the issues that we're having this season is I had a lot of honeybees that were coming in the spring. And then I know the fellow who has the honeybees, because we don't have a whole lot of honeybees in Wyoming unless they are brought in, domestic honeybees. And I know the fellow who has the honeybees, and his name is the Bee Company, so you can look him up on Facebook if you want to, called the Bee Company here in Cheyenne on 19th Street. We are on 17th Street. So the bees are traveling about 1.5 miles, and they make it to my garden because I'm always, having flowers. There's always some sort of flowers going on out here that the bees can enjoy, and my salvia plants, which I just had taken those out of commission. I'll be digging those up in the fall. But we always have a lot of flowers that are going on, especially with the vegetables, and the honeybees love it, so they travel here and they do their stuff. Well, I had a lot of them in the spring on the salvia plants, and then all of a sudden it tapered off to nothing. So I've not had any honeybees at all now in a few weeks. So I think what has either happened is a bee company is doing something with the hives, maybe working on them or something, I don't know. Maybe has them loaned out to traveling, because I know that there's honeybees that travel. I don't know what all he does, but I did call him and thank him in the spring for the use of his honeybees coming out here and enjoying the flowers. And he seemed okay with everything, and I told him I don't use pesticides or anything. So he was happy with that, and he actually said, if you have a lot of purple flowers, they love purple flowers. And I said, well, just so happens I have salvia. So he was quite happy with that, and they were in droves of honeybees at that time. And now I have nothing. So I don't know exactly what happened, if maybe there's another garden somewhere between here and there that they're enjoying more, because we only got a handful of honeybees at any given time, but they did their job each season, and I'm really missing them this season. So I'm having to hand pollinate quite a few of these things. I hand pollinated a pumpkin yesterday, and I've been hand pollinating my tomatoes and my cucumbers and my cantaloupes and everything. It'll work. It's just that it's pretty tedious to have to do all that. But anyway, so let's get back to what's going on in the garden. So I did go ahead and tear out part of the radish bed, and I did go ahead and replant that with some cherry giant radishes as well as some white globe radishes. So looking forward to those coming up. I just did that today, so they won't be up for the next 3 or 4 days. And then I did go ahead and replant in this little container, the long container, some more red velvet lettuce. Actually, my daughter did that. That's her containers. And I did notice that the carrots that I had sown about 5 days ago are now up. So you can't see them really, but they just had started coming up. So there are loads and loads of carrots in there. They did come up all over. So I'm very happy with that, because as you can see, our carrot patch was kind of spotty. So that is the first carrot patch, and I actually went ahead and made a second carrot patch today, and I'll show you that in just a moment. And a little more of an update on the broccoli heads. We do now have broccoli heads on all of the broccoli, except for the smaller ones. So at least 4 heads so far. And I went ahead and pulled some more dirt up around my fennel The fennel is supposed to get bulbs on the bottom, but it is, I've noticed, pretty easy for it to get blown over. So I've had a little bit of issues with that, so I went ahead and pulled some more dirt up around the root base. And remember when I was talking about two of those white butterflies, the white cabbage moths that were floating around? Well, they did attack something. They attacked the lettuce. Surprisingly enough, not my brassicas. They attacked the lettuce in this container. You can see those little holes there. Well, I found the little culprit, a little green worm, which is a cabbage worm, or as we used to call them back east, cutworms. And he was just going to town on eating this lettuce. And I think I may have a couple of them in the cauliflower bed. I'll show you here in just a moment. Remember when I was saying that I don't have any holes in my cauliflower? Well, now I do. And I think we've got another little culprit, a little cutworm or a cabbage moth larva that is attacking my cauliflower. As you can see, there are now holes in a few of them. Most of them still look okay. And they are getting ready to have heads, which is about the time when those little fellas get started. So, what am I going to do? I'm going to go through each one of these plants, find the little fella, and kill him off. So that's what's going to happen with that little cabbage moth cutworm larva. And I haven't noticed anything on my cabbages so far. I only have 3 right now that are making heads, and then I've got some more seedlings that are planted and coming on for fall. So I haven't seen anything so far with those, but I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye to see what's going on. And I did notice today that we do have a pepper, as you can see right there. I believe this is on the giant Marconi that it has popped up. I'm hoping that it fills out a little bit more. It looks like it's kind of long and skinny, so I don't know. We always have trouble with trying to grow peppers here because it is such a cool climate. I'll just be happy if I get any peppers at all. But my own pepper plants, the last 4 that there was in this area, are now beginning to come on and start blooming. So they should have something on them. But that is the pepper plants right now, do have something producing. And this is the trellis that I had went ahead and built a couple days ago and had gotten the green beans running up on them. And as you can see, they are definitely starting to run along all of the little lines and blooming now. So there should be beans start popping up pretty soon. There is a mixture of some bush beans in here. There's only about 7 bush bean plants. The rest of them are long pole, and that was because they were killed out by the hailstorm. And I did get another hailstorm a couple days ago, and that could also be the reason why I have holes in my cauliflower. So I'm not too surprised if I don't see any worms. But if I do, then I either know that it's that, or, well, if I find a worm, I'll know for sure it was that. But it could also be the hailstorm that came through, because there are a couple holes in my sunflowers as well. And it wasn't a very long hailstorm this time, and not very big hailstones, but definitely had a hailstorm. And I did go ahead and get another couple of rows of peas planted in between each one of these rows. So they're now a couple of inches apart, like Suburban Homestead or Wyoming, Arizona had done a video on hers. So I planted 1 row of snow, Alaska snow, and another row of the other peas. And I think the beans have actually started running up the trellises on this side as well. You can see them wrapping around. Here we go. We're going to start taking off and getting some beans. And I won't step out into it, but I did go ahead and make another carrot patch, which is the long raised up row that you can see there in the middle of the frame. And I did plant a row of the Yukon Gold potatoes. They are organic potatoes that I just picked up at the store. And then a row of lima beans. And then I also planted a patch of more radishes right here in this front section, and a little patch of dill here between the 2 pumpkins. And I do have a pumpkin on this plant. This is a white pumpkin called a Casper pumpkin. So I look forward to seeing that. And everything is just taking off like crazy. You can even see my watermelons now have some long runners on them and are just going out all over the place. My borage is getting big. And it's only been a few days since, well, really a couple of weeks since I planted the borage and the other radishes and the garden sage. And the garden sage still slow. It's always a slow go, but it will fill out. And I did come in and cut off all the suckers on all of my corn, and you can see my beans tucked away down at the base of the corn, and we'll start running up that. So I hope everyone enjoys this video, some updates, and of course it's always sparse here in the back because there's shading going on or shadowing going on with the garage. So we will see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to get notices on new videos as they come out.